Hello. So this is week 66 in Intuitive Momentum Fitness. And big things since the last live. So I got my book published. I'm super pumped about that. So I think last week I had published the Kindle. But I was formatting the paperback, and so both of those are finished and ready to go on Amazon, which is amazing to say. And I am wanting to take a moment to celebrate and to relish the moment. There's a pattern, I don't know if you can relate to this, a pattern that I've had throughout my life where essentially I'm in survival mode, and there's an element of perfectionism, and so when I accomplish something, even no matter how big it is, whether it's getting a degree, finishing a certification program, getting a new job, moving to a new place, doing something new, buying a house, or finishing my book, I tend to okay, so that must not have been a really big deal because I just did it. And what's the next thing I need to do to, ensure survival or just kind of carry on with life? And I don't take a minute and celebrate. And so my therapist actually kind of put the brakes on during our session yesterday, and reminded me that I wasn't I was already just moving way past it, and just didn't take a minute to to contemplate and pause and celebrate that achievement. So I want to take a minute now and just kind of reflect on that. That was something I started thinking about when I was working at the YMCA, my first fitness job, and I was probably there for a year or two, and I decided to create this class with fill in the blank handouts, and it was I think a 2-hour class on positive life change. And I'd been reflecting on my own journey, not only my physical health but my mental emotional health, and doing brave things and things that scared me, that alarmed me, that were normal everyday things, but I just had been so trained that I was incapable and unable to do these things that it was overwhelming. And so I had pushed myself out of these comfort zones and pushed myself to rise up as the hero of my own story in a lot of different ways. And so I would have been mid late 20s, and so just within 5 years of having gotten away from my abusive home. And so I was experiencing better health, more strength, more energy. I was respected by my coworkers and clients, parents of kids I taught PE to. There was all these new experiences in my life, and I was had been fascinated with the process of positive life change, and how do you become someone you've never been before, and how do you become someone you have never believed that you could be. How do you get to the place of experiencing a reality that you have never experienced before? And I realized that there were some big challenges, a lot of them internal, to experiencing a new version of life. So I taught this 2-hour class on positive life change at the YMCA in the little classroom. And I remember thinking, I wish I could take this, or I should take this. I want to take this and all the normal little things that I tell all of my new training clients about fitness. And so the mental, emotional aspects of positive life change and the basics of fitness, so that everyone can get fit and healthy and live a more vibrant, fully alive life through simple changes, like not anything overwhelming, anything earth-shattering, anything monumental or massive, just simple adjustments to habits in order to experience a totally different life. And so since then, from that point, I was wanting to call that Keeping Fitness Simple. And I thought someday I'm going to write a book called Keeping Fitness Simple. And along the way, I realized, or I learned about being an empath and how much that defined me as a person. Amanda Flaker is my spiritual mentor. She is the one that helped me grow in my awareness of what it means to be an empath and how that impacts every aspect of my life. And then reading the book Complex PTSD by Pete Walker and being able to relate to everything he said in the book was my first clue that I might have complex PTSD. And I've been working with a good friend who's a clinical psychologist, and she's been taking me through these amazing exercises and practices to help me overcome some of those things. But yeah, all those years ago in my mid-late 20s, I remember thinking about, I want to write this book and share with people the simplicity of positive life change and how to overcome those challenges. And I did it, but I also realized that the empathy piece, being empathic, and learning how to deal with trauma were huge elements to my story that it took me a long time to embrace, to not be in denial of. So yeah, that's a huge thing. So I just want to take a minute and kind of celebrate that with all of you. I know that you guys have been with me through the journey, and I'm very grateful for that. So today I wanted to talk about, first I mentioned the other day I posted in the group about the hydration. So a couple things with that. Hydration is in large part about mineral balance in the body, and I didn't realize how much a part of the conversation that was. So getting high quality minerals from your food, which animal protein is very high in all the minerals, and then you can supplement with electrolytes, and it's important to get a good quality electrolyte brand. So that I can post some resources for that if you guys are interested, so let me know. But I just ordered some new stuff that was highly recommended, so I can tell you about that if that seems like that's good for me if I get some benefits from that. But yeah, so it's more about the mineral content in the body to retain water within each cell. So if you're losing water a lot, then that may be just a mineral imbalance, which is really fascinating. It's amazing how much we know and still not know a lot. I feel like knowledge is like that, science is like that. There are standard truths that we know and believe, and so then we think we don't need to look further because we know enough already, which it's always worth digging in a little deeper, listening to a few more testimonials or research studies or whatever. So all those things are really valuable. I'm getting a phone call, so hopefully you're not it's not interrupting the live. So we'll see if that comes through or not. But yeah, so the hydration thing, they also said that drinking a gallon of water is not necessarily ideal, and I've been drinking a gallon of water for years consistently. So I'm continuing to work to make sure that my mineral balance is full, and then I'm gonna keep doing research on the hydration and see if there's ways for me to know if I need to drink less water than I have, and I'll have to get my body used to that little by little, because I've been so consistent with that I do feel very dehydrated if I don't drink the full gallon each day. So I'll be keeping you updated on that. But yeah, so the 7 essential movement patterns is, it looks at all the joints in the body and what movements are optimal to keep those joints functioning well. So those 7 movements are the squat, the hinge, which can be the deadlift or single leg deadlift, the lunge, which is less stable than the squat, push movement in the upper body, pull movement in the upper body, and it can be push and pull this way or push and pull this way. It can also be pull from below. So the kind of that range of pull and then push, and the push can also be all the way down in like a dip type movement, but push pull for the upper body, and then rotation in the trunk, and then gait or carry. So this is literally walking. Typically with weight. So whether you're doing kind of a farmer's carry, carrying bags of groceries or dumbbells, or you're carrying weight on your back, backpack, small child, whatever it might be, those movements are foundational movements for joint health and mobility within the body. So the squat, and let's see, I can tip this down. All right. So squat and hip hinge or the deadlift, the lunge, push like push-ups, pull like a row or bent over row with dumbbells, or a pull-up, and rotation in the spine. So this is really important. Lock your abdominals down. Make them as tight as you can, like you're bracing for someone to punch you. So tighten it down and then breathe that way and keep it tight. Exhale, keep it tight. Inhale, keep it tight, and exhale, keep it tight. And so as you continue to keep it tight and you continue to breathe in and out, rotate. So this could also be like Russian twists. If you're sitting back on the floor and you're doing Russian twists, and other rotation exercises. So you can do that with resistance bands into the wall and rotate away. That is beneficial. And then the last one is the gait or carry. So whether you're holding buckets of grain or buckets of water or dumbbells or small children, walking and holding weight is really beneficial for all of those. Almost every joint in the body is going to be involved. The muscles and tendons in almost every joint in the body are going to be involved in a weighted carry. So so those are the most important tissues. If you're using the app, I add more and more of those exercises in progressively. So, let me know if you have any questions about that. I wanted to go over or reiterate the importance of simplicity, consistency, and reaching fatigue. So the reason I decided to mention those 7 basic movement patterns is that when it comes to strengthening your body, increasing muscle density, increasing bone density, it's all about these basic movements. A lot of fitness gurus can get really intricate and complicated in their workouts, and I think they want to keep it interesting and they want to make it look like they know what they're talking about, which they probably do, but you don't need to confuse your muscles. You just need to use your muscles to fatigue so they get the signal to be stronger. So your workouts don't have to be complicated or crazy or confusing or whatever workouts are. Sometimes they can be really, really, really simple. So making sure that you are keeping it simple so that you don't overwhelm yourself, so that you can stay consistent, is the most important thing. And then consistency is the next most important thing. And that's part of why you want to keep it simple, so you can't be consistent, because your body will not adapt to random things that you do every once in a while. It'll only adapt to things that you're consistent with. So if you can do something consistently 2 to 3 times a week, then your body will know that it needs to adapt to it. So be consistent with that. Be consistent with the changes that you want to make in your routine, and especially these 7 functional strength movement patterns. That's going to ensure your mobility, your strength and endurance, your longevity for your lifetime. And then each time you are doing your simple and consistent workout, you want to reach fatigue in the muscle. And fatigue is different than failure. it could be the same thing, but it's not. Fatigue is not always failure. Failure is definitely always fatigue, but fatigue is not always failure. So you want to reach fatigue, which just means that you have run out of this moment's capacity within the muscle. So if you're doing push-ups against the counter and your chest and your triceps are quivering and you feel a little bit of burning in the muscle, then you know that you've run out of ATP in the muscle currently, and it's a good idea to rest it for a minute or two to recharge that ATP, allow the blood to come through and rebuild up that ATP in the muscle so you can do another set. But when your muscle runs out of ATP, that is also when it gets a signal to get stronger. So if you never reach fatigue in your slow, steady, full range of motion movement of strength training, then your body doesn't really think it needs to get stronger. It probably will. It's good for you, definitely good for you. But if you're not challenging yourself a little bit in that, then you may not get stronger or prevent yourself from getting weaker, because the body is economic. It's not going to maintain muscle that you're not using. So make sure that you are using your muscle regularly in order to keep your strength. So those three things: simplicity, consistency, and reaching fatigue are essential elements of a good strength training routine. So this is something I'm going to be posting in the group later, but I want to connect with you guys for what you have appreciated about the group, what you have found helpful about the group, and what you have found unique about working with me in the area of fitness and positive life change. So keep an eye out for that, and I will be sharing more updates soon, some new changes even from what I talked about last week to the group. So talk to you guys soon. Love you and have a great week.